Hello everyone. Welcome to my channel The World Coin. On this channel, we explore rare and valuable coins from around the world. Old dollar coins, error coins, and hidden treasures that can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. If you love coin collecting, or want to know the real value of coins you already own, you're in the right place. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell, so you never miss an update. Let's get started with today's rare coin. I have 3 videos of 5 cents. So let's get started. The United States Monticello 5 cents coin dated 1972 with the D Mint mark, struck at the Denver Mint, represents one of the most misunderstood yet historically fascinating coins in modern American numismatics, because while millions of these nickels were produced for everyday circulation, only a very small percentage survived in very fine condition or better, and an even smaller number exhibit the unique strike characteristics, mint errors, and die varieties that have pushed certain examples into the hundreds and even thousands of dollars range in today's collector market, making this coin a perfect example of how ordinary-looking pocket change can evolve into a high-value historical artifact. The 1972 D Jefferson nickel belongs to the long-running Jefferson Monticello series, introduced in 1938. A design that honored Thomas Jefferson not only as the 3rd President of the United States but also as the principal author of the Declaration of Independence and the embodiment of American ideals such as liberty, intellectual freedom, and democratic governance, and by the early 1970s this design had already become deeply embedded in American daily life, passing through the hands of factory workers, students, soldiers, shopkeepers, and families during a period marked by inflation, economic uncertainty, and rapid social change. The obverse of the 1972 D nickel features Jefferson's left-facing portrait with the inscriptions, "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date 1972, and in very fine condition the coin still displays clear facial details including the eye, nose, jawline, and hair texture, showing honest circulation wear without heavy flattening, damage, or corrosion, a level of preservation that is increasingly difficult to find today due to decades of circulation. The reverse showcases the iconic image of Monticello, Jefferson's Virginia estate, with Monticello, 5 cents, and United States of America, and it is here that collectors focus intense attention, especially on the sharpness of the steps, dome, and lettering, because weak strikes were extremely common during the early 1970s as the U.S. Mint pushed out massive quantities of coins under high production pressure. The D Mint mark, placed to the right of Monticello, confirms its Denver origin, and while Denver produced large numbers of nickels in 1972, the quality of individual strikes varied widely due to worn dies, misaligned presses, and rushed minting schedules, creating the conditions that later resulted in rare and valuable error coins. Among the most sought-after 1972 D Monticello nickels are those with double die obverses or reverses, visible doubling in lettering or design elements, off-center strikes, clipped planchettes, die cracks, lamination errors, weak or misplaced mint marks, and unusually strong strikes with above-average detail, all of which can dramatically increase collector interest and market value. Historically, the early 1970s were a turning point in U.S. coinage, as rising metal prices and inflation reduced the purchasing power of small denominations, causing coins like the nickel to be handled roughly, stored carelessly, or melted and lost over time, which explains why genuinely well-preserved very fine examples are far scarcer today than raw mintage numbers suggest. In the collector market, a standard circulated 1972 D nickel may only be worth face value, but once condition, rarity, and uniqueness come into play, values change dramatically, with authenticated error coins and exceptional specimens selling for hundreds of dollars, and in rare documented cases, approaching or exceeding $1,000. Particularly when professionally graded and encapsulated by major grading services. These high prices are driven not by hype alone but by the core principles of numismatics: scarcity, condition, demand, and historical context. As collectors compete to own distinctive examples that tell a deeper story than ordinary circulation pieces. From a historical perspective, the 1972 D Monticello 5 cents coin is a physical reminder of an America in transition, a nation balancing traditional values with modern economic realities, mass production with unintended rarity, and everyday utility with long-term collectible significance. Over the decades, what was once used to buy coffee, newspapers, and bus rides has become an object of careful study under magnification, auctioned, graded, catalogued, and preserved as part of America's monetary heritage. Today, the 1972D Monticello nickel in very fine condition, especially when featuring rare errors or unusually strong strikes, stands as proof that coin history is not defined only by age or precious metals, but by the stories hidden in metal, the mistakes made during production, and the collectors who recognize value where others see only spare change, making this coin a powerful symbol of why knowledge is the most valuable tool in coin collecting and why the Monticello 5 cents 1972D continues to command respect, fascination, and real money in the modern numismatic market. Next video. The United States Monticello 5 cents coin dated 1970 with the D Mint mark, struck at the Denver Mint, holds a surprisingly important place in American coin history because it was produced during a decade of major economic pressure, rising inflation, and changing attitudes toward metal coinage, making it a coin that quietly bridges the gap between traditional mid-century U.S. money and the modern era of mass production and reduced purchasing power. Although at first glance the 1970D Jefferson nickel appears to be a common circulation coin, collectors and historians now recognize that examples preserved in very fine condition or better, especially those with distinctive strike qualities or mint errors, have become increasingly scarce and desirable, with certain documented specimens commanding hundreds and, in rare cases, thousands of dollars in the modern numismatic market. The coin belongs to the long-running Jefferson Monticello series, introduced in 1938, a design chosen to honor Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States, author of the Declaration of Independence, and a central figure in the philosophy of American liberty, education, and self-government, and by 1970 Jefferson's portrait had become one of the most familiar images in everyday American life. The obverse of the 1970D nickel features Jefferson's left-facing portrait with the inscriptions, "In God We Trust, Liberty," and the date 1970, and in very fine condition the coin still shows clear facial structure, readable hair detail, and strong lettering, indicating moderate circulation wear without excessive flattening, corrosion, or damage, a level of preservation that is far less common today than raw mintage numbers suggest. The reverse side displays Monticello, Jefferson's historic Virginia home, with the legends, Monticello, 5 cents, and United States of America, and collectors pay close attention to this side because during the late 1960s and early 1970s the U.S. Mint often struggled with weak strikes, especially on the steps and architectural details of Monticello, meaning that coins with stronger detail stand out immediately as superior examples. The D Mint mark, located to the right of Monticello, confirms its production at the Denver Mint, a facility known for high output but variable strike quality during this period due to heavy demand for circulating coinage. Historically, the year 1970 came at a time when Americans were experiencing rising prices, reduced coin purchasing power, and growing skepticism about traditional money, leading to coins being used heavily, stored poorly, or discarded without thought for preservation, which explains why genuinely well-preserved 1970D nickels are far scarcer today than many people assume. From a numismatic standpoint, the true excitement surrounding the 1970D Monticello nickel lies in its errors and varieties, as the pressure to produce massive quantities of coins led to worn dies, misalignments, and striking mistakes, resulting in collectible features such as double die lettering, die cracks, off-center strikes, clipped planchettes, weak or irregular mint marks, lamination flaws, and unusually strong strikes, all of which dramatically increase value when authenticated. While a normal circulated 1970D nickel is usually worth face value, coins that combine very fine or higher condition with rare errors or exceptional eye appeal have sold for hundreds of dollars, and in some documented auction cases, approaching or exceeding $1,000, especially when certified by major grading services and accompanied by clear provenance. These high prices are not based on speculation but on the fundamental principles of coin collecting: scarcity, condition, demand, and historical context. As collectors compete for examples that survived an era of heavy use and industrial pressure, culturally, the 1970D Monticello 5 cents coin represents everyday America at the start of a turbulent decade, passing through vending machines, public transport systems, schools, and small businesses, silently recording a period of social change, economic adjustment, and evolving national identity. Over time, What once bought a cup of coffee or a newspaper has transformed into a carefully studied artifact, examined under magnification, catalogued in collections, and traded in auctions as part of America's monetary legacy. Today, the 1970 Monticello nickel in very fine condition, especially when distinguished by rare mint errors or superior strike quality, stands as powerful proof that value in coin history is not determined solely by age or precious metal content, but by survival, uniqueness, and knowledge, making this coin a perfect example of why collectors always look twice at what others dismiss as ordinary change, and why the Monticello 5 cents 1970 continues to earn respect, fascination, and real money in the modern collector market. Next video. The United States Monticello 5 cents coin dated 1979 with the D Mint mark, struck at the Denver Mint, represents a fascinating chapter in modern American coin history because it was produced during a period of economic uncertainty, inflation, and changing public attitudes towards small denomination coinage, a time when the nickel still played a meaningful role in everyday transactions yet was already beginning to lose purchasing power, making survival in higher grades far less common than mintage figures alone would suggest. Although the 1979 D Jefferson nickel is often dismissed as an ordinary circulation coin, collectors who study the series closely understand that examples preserved in very fine condition are better, especially those displaying strong strikes, clean surfaces, or notable mint errors, can carry significant numismatic interest and, in rare documented cases, achieve market values ranging from hundreds to even thousands of dollars when all value-driving factors align. This coin belongs to the long-running Jefferson Monticello series, first introduced in 1938 to honor Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States and a central architect of American liberty, whose portrait on the obverse symbolizes intellectual freedom, democratic ideals, and constitutional governance, values that remained culturally important as America entered the late 1970s. The obverse of the 1979 D nickel features Jefferson's left-facing profile accompanied by the inscriptions, "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date 1979. And in very fine condition the coin retains clear definition in Jefferson's hair, eye, jawline, and coat, showing moderate, even wear without heavy flattening or damage, a condition level that is increasingly difficult to locate today due to decades of circulation. The reverse displays Monticello, Jefferson's historic Virginia estate, with Monticello above and 5 cents, and United States of America below, and it is on this side that collectors pay especially close attention, examining the clarity of the building, the strength of the lettering, and the overall strike quality, because during the late 1970s the U.S. Mint often struggled with worn dies and high-speed production, leading to weak or inconsistent strikes. The D Mint mark, positioned to the right of Monticello, identifies the Denver Mint as the place of origin, and while Denver produced very large quantities of nickels in 1979, high output frequently came at the cost of quality control, unintentionally creating the conditions that later produced collectible errors and varieties. Among the most desirable 1979 D Monticello nickels are those exhibiting doubled die features, die cracks, cuds, off-center strikes, clipped planchettes, lamination flaws, misaligned dies, weak or irregular mint marks, and unusually sharp strikes, all of which can elevate a common coin into a high-value collectible when properly authenticated. Historically, 1979 was a year marked by inflation, energy concerns, and economic adjustment in the United States, and coins from this era were heavily used, stored casually, or lost, which explains why genuinely well-preserved very fine examples are far scarcer today than many people realize. From a market perspective, a normal circulated 1979 D nickel may still trade at face value, but coins that combine very fine or higher condition with rarity, eye appeal, or confirmed mint errors have sold for hundreds of dollars, and in exceptional cases, approaching or exceeding $1,000, particularly when certified by professional grading services and supported by clear documentation. These prices are driven not by exaggeration but by the core principles of numismatics: scarcity, condition, demand, and historical context. As collectors compete to secure distinctive examples that survived an era of heavy circulation and industrial-scale minting, culturally, the 1979 D Monticello 5 cents coin represents everyday American life at the close of the 1970s, passing through vending machines, public transportation systems, schools, and small businesses, silently recording a decade of transition and uncertainty. Over time, what once functioned as a simple 5-cent piece has evolved into a subject of serious study, examined under magnification, cataloged in collections, and traded at auctions as part of America's monetary story. Today, the 1979 Monticello nickel in very fine condition, especially when distinguished by rare errors or exceptional strike quality, stands as powerful evidence that value in coin history is not determined solely by age or precious metal content, but by survival, uniqueness, and informed collecting, proving once again that even modern coins can achieve remarkable status and real market value when knowledge reveals what the casual eye overlooks. So please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. A new coin story awaits you every next day.